Story from the chicken soup for the soul. Three things in human life are important. The first is to be the kind, the second is to be kind, and third is to be kind. One morning, John Evans shuffled into my life. A wrecked looking boy, he was decked out in oversized, hand me down clothes and worn out shoes that split apart at the seams. John was the son of black migrant workers who had recently arrived in our small North Carolina town for a season of apple picking. These laborers were the poorest of the poor, earning barely enough to feed their families. Standing at the head of our second grade class that morning, John Evans was a hapless sight. He shifted from foot to foot as our teacher, Miss Palmill, penned his name in the roll book. We weren't sure what to make of the shoddy newcomer, but whispers of disapproval began drifting from row to row. "What is that?" the boy behind me mumbled. "Somebody open a window," a girl said, giggling. Mrs. Palmiel looked at us from behind her reading glasses. The murmuring stopped, and she went back to her paperwork. "Class, this is John Evans," Miss Palmiel announced, trying to sound enthusiastic. John looked around and smiled, hoping somebody would smile back. Nobody did. He kept on grinning anyway. I held my breath, hoping Mrs. Palmill wouldn't notice the empty desk next to mine. She did, and pointed him in that direction. He looked over at me as he slid into the seat, but I averted my eyes so he wouldn't think that I had a promise as a new friend. By the end of his first week, John had found firm footing at the bottom of our school's social ladder. "It's his own fault," I told my mother one evening at dinner. "He barely even knows how to count." My mother had grown to know John quite well through my nightly commentary. She always listened patiently but rarely uttered more than a pensive, oh, I see." "Can I sit by you?" John stood in front of me, lunch tray in hand and a grin on his face. I looked around to see who was watching. "Okay," I replied